Alrighty guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Ethan here with Disciplined Trading. I am so glad to have you guys here with me on this beautiful, I guess at least here in Denver, rainy Monday night. But I just wanted to go ahead and share this trade that I took actually last night. I went ahead and took it, and it turned out very nicely. So I figured I'd go ahead and share it here with you guys. Funny enough, it's actually the first trade in my first video that we were looking at live. So I've been eyeing this trade for I would say about a week now or so, and it ended up obviously after my last video was posted, it ended up coming into our point of interest, and I ended up taking the trade, and like I said, it went pretty well, right? So I just want to explain kind of my thought process, and how I went about hopping into this trade and taking some nice profit, right? So with all that being said, I don't want to waste your guys' time. I do want to try and make this video short, right? So let's go ahead and hop right into it. So um, so the first thing that I was looking for, and this is what I always look for, this is my criteria, at least when I first hop onto a chart, is I want to identify a directional bias, right? And all that means is I want to find a direction in which the market is moving that creates a bias for me, whether that is leaning towards selling the market or leaning towards buying the market, right? So we can see that GJ, right, for the past God knows how long. I mean, since October, actually even lower than that. Yeah, this thing's been ripping for a while. So I would say since March of last year, GBP, JPY has been pretty bullish. You guys can obviously see that with the naked eye, but that is the first thing I do, is just identify a directional bias or identify what I am going to be looking for in this market, right? So because the market is moving up so nicely, we can see obviously, it did create a bottom right here. Then we have a higher high, we have a higher low, higher high, higher low. Higher high, higher low. It just keeps going, keeps going. So we know that we are definitely in a bullish trend, and we know that when price is going up, when the market's looking bullish, we know that the only thing that we are going to be doing is buying. Right, so that's mainly what I do on the daily. I know a lot of people, look for trade setups on the daily. I personally do not do that just because it's not part of my trading plan. Although I do look at the daily, and sometimes the weekly just to get a better idea of what price is doing overall. Right, so cool. So now that we identified that, I just wanted to kind of take you guys back to what I was looking at, like actually what I was looking at when I was eyeing this trade, right? So there's no setups yet, but I will get into kind of what I saw, right? So from here, we're just gonna go ahead and drop down to the 4 hour, and what I can see is price is actually here. Let me go ahead, just kind of make this a little bit bigger, right? Oh, geez, what am I doing? Right. So what we can see is obviously price is creating higher lows. It's creating higher highs. We've got a higher low. We've got a higher high, right? And then price came back down to create a higher low. And what I can see right here, and if you guys remember to the first video that I posted on my channel, just talking about order blocks, institutional candles, stuff like that, is that for an order block to be valid, and basically what I mean when I say order block, is basically in an uptrend, it is going to be the last down candle, right? So this candle right here, it's going to be this candle. It's going to be the last down candle. Oh shoot, sorry. it's going to be the last down candle before a big spike in price, right? So that's kind of the first criteria for an order block. The second criteria is going to be we want to see after this last bearish candle, this last down candle before the huge move up, we want to see a lot of volume following that bearish candle, right? So right here, we can see a lot of volume comes into the market after that bearish candle, and then obviously, you know, kind of continues to move a little bit higher from here. And then the third thing we want to see for an OB to be valid, because there are plenty of order blocks. Like if we're looking right here, we can see there's an order block which is relevant. This would have been perfect if, you know, price was right here and we didn't have all this information yet. This would have been a beautiful order block, simply because of the fact that, what did I just say? We broke structure, right? We broke structure right here. And we'd see a lot of volume after that last bearish candle, right? So that's what I mean when I refer to order blocks. That is kind of what I am talking about. And like I said in my first video as well, I'm going to be going a little bit more in depth about, you know, exactly what, exactly what an order block is, and you know, a little bit better of a way to go ahead and spot them, right? So for now, this is perfect. So this is going to be our order block that we're focusing on. This is the order block that I was focusing on personally, and especially just because, again, this is a lot closer to where price is at. It's significant because it broke structure, and it has that volume as well, right? So cool. So after this, here, let me actually go ahead and just kind of draw that out. So right here on the 4 hour, and again, this is what I was looking at like in real time. Is I marked up this order block, and what I usually do is I just go ahead and throw H4 POI into this box, and that lets me know, it helps me not get, you know, confused on exactly you know, which time frame it was and all that stuff. I have, you know, exactly right here what time frame it was, so I don't get all confused and shit. So cool. So with that being said, we have our 4 hour order block marked up, right? So from here, this is what I did. Is I actually, oh shoot, sorry, is I went ahead and I dropped down to the 1 hour, right? So still, this is all while price is right here. Okay, so this is what I was looking at. This is all I saw. Okay, so what I would do, just because of the fact that if we go ahead and look at the 4 hour OB right here, this is a pretty heavy wick. I just mean that, like, there's a lot less body than there is wick, which, don't get me wrong, that's definitely a good thing for identifying a point of interest. But I don't want to leave. I just don't like. I guess what I'm trying to say is, like, I don't like how big. I don't like how big this point of interest is, so I'm going to go ahead and drop down to the lower time frames to go ahead and refine that order block or that point of interest, however you want to say it. Same thing, right? So with that being said, I do just want to show you guys real quick. So this is a 35 pip stop, or a 35 pip zone, excuse me. So that's why I was saying that's a lot personally for me. That's a lot too big of a zone. So I definitely want to go ahead and kind of refine what I was looking for, right? So with all that being said, all the information that we gathered on the daily, right? We know we're bullish. We're only looking for buys, and then we dropped out of the 4 hour to go ahead and find a valid order block, a valid point of interest, right? So so from here, like I said, I dropped down to the 1 hour, and what I did is, we can see, so this wick right here that wicked up is actually, that was the top of that H4 candle that we were just looking at, right? So now that we drop down to the 1 hour, we can see that the one that I just moved down to highlight, this was on the H1, this was the last bearish candle before that huge spike in price that ended up breaking structure, which shows us that price wants to continue higher, right? So, and the only reason, again, the only reason that I took this zone down from the top of this wick to the top of this last bearish wick is simply because of the fact that, in my opinion, that 4-hour zone was just a little bit too big. So I wanted to go ahead and kind of refine it a little bit, if you will. And so since I did that, I'm just gonna go back to my text thing real quick. We're just going to put, oh geez, not H12, not H11, H1. We're just going to go ahead and put H1 POI, right? So I do that. I don't know why this is like that. Here, I'm so sorry, guys. I don't want to text wrap. I don't know. Border now. Okay, cool. Sorry about that, fellas. Let's just go ahead and just do it like that. Doesn't matter, but all right, cool. So now that we have our H1 POI, and keep in mind, this is still what I was looking at. Keep in mind, price is kind of just in real time. Price was just fluctuating right here. So this is all I was seeing, right? So now the next step is going to be, we're just gonna wait for price to come and tap us in. We're basically just waiting for price to come into this zone, and then we're going to look for we're going to go ahead and look for entry, wait for confirmations before we enter, and I will show you guys how I go ahead and do that, right? So so with that being said, like I said, we're just waiting for price to tap into this H1 POI. Okay, so let's actually just play this a little bit. Okay, price is just doing what it wants to do. All right. Oh, wow. We're seeing a lot of bearish power. So more than likely, price is going to tap us into that zone. And again, guys, I just want to pause this real quick. Oh, wow. I paused it perfectly right before it came into our POI. I just want to say, be patient, right? I know, like, I would say, honestly, psychology is at least 85% of trading. I mean, sure, you can have a perfect strategy, but if you don't follow the core structure and the core base of what your strategy is to a T, then it's really just not going to work out, right? And so psychology has a lot to do with that, and patience as well has a lot to do with that, right? So when you're marking out these points of interest, just be patient, right? Just be patient and be confident in your analysis that they will come into this zone. And then, like I said, after the zone, we can look for entry. But I just wanted to say that real quick. Just make sure that you're patient, right? Patience is a virtue, and it's a hell of a lot more than that in this trading space. So I figured I would just go ahead and mention that real quick. So let's play this. All right, what's price doing? Oh, cool. So price just tapped us in. Okay, barely tapped us in, but it still tapped us in nonetheless, right? So now we are going to be looking for entry. Okay, now this doesn't mean that as soon as this hits this zone that we can immediately just press buy and just wish that price is going to go up and hit our take profit. Okay, we need to be a little more patient than that. We need to see a little more confluence and confirmation that is what price wants to do, instead of just ripping through this level and continuing lower, right? So cool. So with that being said, let's just go ahead and play it. So keep in mind, so we're looking for entry. Cool. So as soon as price hits our OB, right? So if this was me, not if this was me, this was me. I personally just kept it on the 1 hour. I like to just kind of keep it on the time frame that I have my point of interest in. Just makes a little bit more sense for me personally, right? So, so now that price tapped us in to this H1, to this hourly point of interest, what I did is I actually went ahead and dropped down to the 5-minute. Okay. And keep in mind, I said this in my last video as well, guys. It doesn't matter, like it really doesn't matter what you drop down to. This is all preference. But what I personally usually drop down to is, I'll go from like the 4 hour to the 1 hour just to refine that overall point of interest. And then usually more than not, I'll either drop down to the 15-minute, or the 5 minute. Kind of just depends. And like I said, I really don't think it matters too much, but it's just all what you feel comfortable with, right? So cool. So with that being said, let's go ahead and play price. So now what we're looking for on these lower time frames is um, we're looking for a break. We're looking for a break of structure. Okay. Sorry guys, I just had my I don't know where my pad just went. I'm so sorry guys. Here, hang in with me. Hang in with me just 1 second here. Okay, cool. So let's go ahead and delete this real quick. Cool. So what we're looking for now is we're looking for a break of structure, right? So as we can see, price, because it's been moving lower, right? It's been moving lower to tap us into this point of interest. Obviously, price is bearish as of right now, right? So the last thing we want to do is be hopping into a market that is clearly down, that is clearly moving down, right? We don't just want to blindly hop in, and that's why I'm saying we want to wait for confirmation. And I only just drew this trend line just to show that clearly on these lower time frames as of recent we are in a downtrend. Okay, so cool. So with that being said, what we're looking for is obviously, like I said, price is creating. Give me 1 second. Let's see. So price is creating higher highs, right? Excuse me. It's creating a high, and then it's creating a lower high, right? And then a lower low. So actually a top. I'm so sorry, guys. And then a lower low, and then we have a lower high, lower low, actually a higher high. So this ended up actually breaking structure, but keep in mind all this price action, when it comes to entry at least, this isn't valid for me just because it hasn't tapped in yet, right? But I am just showing you that price was in a bearish structure. So we had that top out, we had a lower low, we had a lower high, lower low. Obviously price broke a little bit, but then created another low, lower high, lower low, lower high, and then we just have price kind of just consolidating right here, and then it creates another lower high, right? So basically what we want to see is geez. Damn, dude, I feel like there has to be a way easier way to do this. Sorry, guys. Let's see. All right, cool. So now, like I said a million times, sorry, I keep just kind of getting sidetracked. But we're basically just waiting for a break of structure of one of these lower highs to be broken. Okay, that is all that we're looking for, right? So if we just go ahead and draw, a couple levels, I would draw kind of just this one first, right? If it breaks that, if it breaks these. But obviously if it breaks this, it broke this, right? So let's just kind of keep our eye on this level right here. Okay, so what do we have? All right, we'll just go ahead and play it. Okay, what does price want to do? All right, so it's fallen off. So keep in mind, guys, so we're just being patient right now. We are just being patient. We are not looking for an entry until this break of structure is until this structure is broken right here. Okay. All right, so we had that break of structure, and let me actually just go ahead and put right here as soon as that broke. So we're just going to label this, we're just going to label it BOS for break of structure. Okay, so now that we know that this broke, now, and you guys will kind of notice, you do the same thing on the higher and lower time frames. Okay, so if we wanted to, and this is part of my strategy, I'll kind of go, I'm going to go a little in depth of what I do that's a little bit different than how most people trade, order blocks and institutional candles and stuff like that. What I would do is I would go ahead and mark this lower time frame order block, and keep in mind, so this is an order block. Why? This is an order block. It's a valid order block simply because it is the last down candle before a huge spike in price, right? It also has the volume, right? It has the volume after it. And our third confirmation that this is a valid order block is that it broke structure. Okay, so now we are officially waiting. We are officially waiting for either price to. Excuse me. Sorry, guys. I'm getting caught up on my words here. So this is an order block. So what a lot of people do is they would wait until price came back into this order block and then looked for a buy. Um, and kind of maybe set it like set something like this, maybe a little bit below that order block, and then have their take profit, wherever they wanted to take it. As soon as, keep in mind, not right now, but as soon as price came into the zone. But what I personally do is let's go ahead and let price play out for just a second. Okay. Okay. So this is what I do. Okay. What I do is, and this was in my last video as well. So after price came and tapped us in, okay, we had that break of structure, which now means we are looking for entry. Okay, that's what that means. Okay, so what I personally do, and I mentioned this, like I just said, I'm repeating myself a lot, guys. I apologize. But what I personally do is, and this is what I did real time, is I went ahead and I drew a Fibonacci retracement from the bottom of that move to the top of this move. Okay. Now you can say, okay, how do you know this is the top of the move? That's kind of the thing with what I do is I don't exactly know that this is the top of the move, but because of these bearish candles that we are seeing, I'm just gonna say that I'm kind of confident that this is the top of the move for now, before price kind of retraces and then continues to move higher. Right? So basically what I did is I went ahead and I drew up this Fibonacci, right? Keep in mind, so I drew it, I started right here, and then I drew it from the bottom of this expansion, right? The market expanded. I drew it from the bottom of this expansion to the top of this expansion, okay? And now what I'm looking for, and this is just my set criteria, these are just my rules, is what I go ahead and do is now I'm looking for price to either come into, and it's actually really, I'm so sorry guys, it's really hard to see, but if we, trying to, okay, I mean you can't really see it, but basically what I'm looking for is I'm waiting for price to come into this 0.5, come into this level right here, this 0.5 50% level, or I'm waiting for it to come into this 618 level. Cool. So let's go ahead and see what price does. All right. Cool. So what I did is I actually, and obviously, the prices, kind of keep on moving. It's not like this, obviously, the whole time. But what I did is I had a limit order. I had a limit order. I had a limit order set for this 0.5 level, right? So it triggered me in right here. Let's actually go ahead and let's actually go ahead here. I'm actually going to change. I'm going to change the color scheme on this just because it is kind of hard to see. Oh Jesus, dude. Just do black. All right, cool. So like I said, what I was waiting for was for price to come into this 50% level, which it did. I had a limit, so it triggered me in right here, which kind of stinks, obviously, because price came and was just kind of pushing down. But it's all good. We're in the trade, so we're in a little bit of drawdown right now. So what I personally do is I would have drawn. So obviously, I would have had my entry right here, right? So it triggered me in. And then what I usually do is I just have my stop. I have my stop a little bit below the 786 level. Okay. So, and then we'll get into target and why I targeted what I targeted here in a second. But this is just personally, and again, guys, this is personally just my rules. This is an 11 pip stop loss, 12 pip, excuse me. This is a 12 pip stop loss, which in my opinion really isn't bad. I would rather give my trade a little bit more room to breathe, rather than going for that super, concise sniper entry, that I know, a lot of people look for. And again, this is this is pretty damn sniper, but I just don't want to. I don't want it to get like literally like wicked out by half a pip and then continue to move higher. I'd rather just be safer than sorry. So let's go ahead and see what price did. And like I said, I have my limit set for right here, so it triggered us in right now. What we're looking at is a little bit of drawdown, but it's all good because I was confident in the play. And let's go ahead and kind of see. Let's kind of go ahead and see what happens. Actually, before we press play, I do want to go up to the 1 hour, and this is my criteria, for a stop loss, right? So we could see, and I did just explain what an OB is. I'm not going to go too into depth about like why I set my target for what I set it for. But yeah, so so I had it up here, and again, just like I just said, guys, I'm gonna get more into depth with this. But I had my take profit up here, and this is because was the market was building liquidity, above these levels, right? So what I mean by liquidity is basically the retail trader will see it waking off, and they're going to think that this is a clear level to sell at, right? But what banks and institutions will do is they'll actually go ahead and drive the price up higher to stop all these people out that are selling. Okay, so that's the most simple terms of it. But I basically just went ahead and set my stop loss up here, because of the fact that I know there's liquidity up here, and I feel like that is the next price that these banks are looking to grab liquidity at. So that's why um, I marked my take profit up here, right? So um, yeah, so let's kind of go ahead and see. Let's drop back down to the 5 minute. And yeah, let's see. Cool. So we'll just let it rock, kind of see what it did. All right. Cool. All right. Well, you guys get the gist. So this was a really good trade, guys. I actually believe, I mean, I believe it came to like right here. And I actually just went ahead, and took my profits. That's one thing personally, because I mean, again, from like what I said in my first video, I'm no professional at this. I'm still really working on the psychology aspect, and holding trades until they hit my full take profit. But um, yeah, so that's one thing I really need to work on. But I ended up closing it a little bit early, just to secure those profits. So yeah, yeah. Again, guys, I really do hope that this made a lot of sense to you guys. This really is only my second time recording a YouTube video, so if I do if I do say a lot, which I know I do, and I'm gonna try to get better at it for you guys. Um, yeah. Jeez, I'm blanking out. But with that being said, thank you guys so much for stopping by the channel. Again, this is Ethan with Disciplined Trading. I hope that you guys have a great rest of your night. And if you guys do have any questions, concerns, comments, anything like that, whether it's a good comment, bad comment, whether it's to help me out on this YouTube channel, what I can do better, or maybe lessons that you guys have for me, please go ahead and throw that down in the comment section. But with all that being said, I hope that you guys have a great rest of your trading week, and I will see you guys in the next one. Cool. Cool. Appreciate it. Bye.